The Eagles' Super Bowl victory. It was no fluke. It's the real deal. It's something that is sustainable and can be built upon. We're going to talk about that because of the reason why. Jalen Hurts. Trending the AM, we're live with more Super Bowl talk because the celebration never ends. We're taking your opinions in 30 seconds.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 woo!
And a very good morning, everybody. Sorry about that. Finishing a sip of coffee there. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. Please smash that like and subscribe button. It's free to do it. It costs you nothing to support a local content creator. So like, subscribe, share wherever you are watching as we continue to grow this channel. And the race to 500 is on. We're starting today at 422 subscribers. How far will we go? Anybody can tell. Who knows? We'll see. But please like, subscribe. It's free to do, guys. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, and we're talking about the fluke that some other people in the media and fan bases across the NFL want to tell you that this Eagles Super Bowl championship was. That you could put anybody at quarterback and they would have won that Super Bowl for the Eagles. It's not sustainable. It's not this. It's not that. And I'm here to tell you, that Super Bowl championship, this last 3-year, 4-year run, it's no fluke. It's the real deal. And it's here to stay. And the Eagles are here to stay as champions, as the dominant force in the NFL, as the team that the league runs through. And there's lots of reasons why. But it really comes down to one thing. And that's Jalen Hurts, who we started the conversation yesterday. Is he the greatest quarterback in Eagles history? And I'm here to tell you he is the greatest quarterback in Eagles history. And it's more than just the wins and losses. It's more than just the Super Bowl. It's the leadership. It's the way he puts the team ahead of himself. All these mic'd up videos that we're seeing from Super Bowl Sunday with Jalen Hurts in them. Jalen Hurts consoling and picking up Devontae Smith when he's crying about winning the Super Bowl. Telling Saquon Barkley it was all about him. It was all him. And Barkley tries to say, no, it was a team thing. And Hurts, no. You were the piece that got us over the hump. Jordan Mailata go, yeah, love it when they doubt you, Jalen. Jalen Hurts has put everybody and everybody's happiness and everybody's success ahead of his. Because that's what great leaders do. His stoic nature is the driving force of this team. And I'm here to tell you that because of Jalen Hurts, this is going to be something year in and year out. We're going to be an elite team year in and year out. So let's get to the comments dropped from one of my trolls from yesterday, because this guy was blowing up my notifications yesterday telling me how fluky the Eagles are. Why we're going with this. So thank you, Zach, for the idea for the show. Good morning, Duck. Hope you are well. This team is built to be long-term. 100%. It's not just Howie Roseman's construction of the roster. It's the leadership at the top. It's special. Good morning, Adam. Hope you are well. I saw Chiefs fans saying it was rigged and the NFL told them not to play to lose on purpose. Oh, so the rigging is that way now. Now they wanted the Chiefs to lose. Oh, I see. People just can't handle Philadelphia and Philadelphia teams being successful, despite the fact that a Philadelphia team being more successful is better for business. It's better for the money. It's better for everybody involved because Philadelphia drives the money. It does. We're passionate. You see the Dak Prescott video talking about how close they are Yeah, there's a lot of Dallas Cowboys hype going around and how they're so going to be so great. And look, there is that whole nobody's won the NFC East back to back, or very rarely do they do that. So the Eagles will have a challenge there next year in the division, but it won't be the Cowboys. It'll be Washington. But this Eagles team is set because of the quarterback. And I firmly believe, and we're going to get into a poll I put on Twitter about this, in a few minutes, and there's a lot of votes on it so far. The reason why it's no fluke is because we have the greatest quarterback in the history of this franchise leading the way right now. And I know that's a debatable topic, but to me, you can't convince me I'm wrong. What's up, Marshawn? How you doing today? Colin Coward, back at it again on the channel. Hey, of course, winning a Super Bowl isn't enough. And no offense to Jalen. This is actually one of the things I love about him. He still hears that noise. That's why he realizes the job's not done. He doesn't want one. He doesn't want two. He doesn't want three. People are telling me that Jalen Hurts, even with the Super Bowl, can't be considered the greatest of all time until he wins more. Randall didn't win nothing. Donovan didn't win nothing. So why does Jalen have to win even more to prove he's better than the past? It's comical. I wrote an article. I did read your article. It's fantastic. The Devontae Smith article, right? This could be. I don't like the word dynasty, so to speak. The word dynasty before the dynasty puts a lot of pressure on the dynasty. If that wordplay there means something or is understandable. You could talk about a team being a destiny 5 years after the destiny ends. But you can't talk about a dynasty when they've just won their first title. You can talk about we ended the Chiefs dynasty maybe, which I don't think. I think they'll be right back there next year. That's just my opinion. But a dynasty is something you talk about after the dynasty. The only Dallas close to the Eagles is Goddard. Absolutely. He might not even be an Eagle next year. We'll see. Dak is delusional. He didn't play the Eagles this year, so there's no way he can claim that. Look, the Cowboys organization is a disaster, and their fan base is delusional. They think we're delusional. At least we got the Super Bowl title to prove it. Dak is being a good soldier and also delusional. He's also a good soldier. That is a very fair point. Huff needs to go. He's not buying into team philosophy. We always talk about how the Giants should be firing their people for letting Saquon Barkley go. What about the Dolphins letting Vic Fangio go so easily to come to Philadelphia? They drove him out of Miami. All he does is come here and win a Super Bowl and lead this defense to a Super Bowl. Colin's point is that Jalen delivered a Super Bowl because the team is stacked. Name me a championship team that isn't stacked, right, Marshawn? I mean, and this is the narrative that is going. It's not just Colin. It is going everywhere. I can't say Jalen Hurts is the greatest quarterback in Eagles history because he's got the best team in Eagles history, is what I've been told. I'm told. I just saw somebody. There's a thread. I had to mute it because there's so many comments on it that I had started. And someone was saying Sam Howell or whatever his name from Washington from a few years ago that put up all those yards could be dropped in this Eagles offense and they would have won a Super Bowl. I was like, what? What? Like the delusion that Jalen Hurts is meaningless to this Eagles team is going to be the driving force to be repeat champions next year. It's going to be the driving force so that Jalen ain't squatting 600. He's going to be squatting 700 pounds next year. It's going to be the driving force to an MVP season from Jalen Hurts next season. In fact, maybe I'll go bet that as soon as this show is over. The driving point will be that we have too good of a team. No one was complaining about the Chiefs' great teams when they were winning. No one was complaining about Tom Brady's great teams when he had Randy Moss to throw to. Nobody's complaining about Joe Montana had Jerry Rice. But because the Eagles have a good team, it doesn't validate our title. It doesn't validate Jalen Hurts. And that's comical in my opinion. A dynasty does start with one. I get that. Big Al. But I just don't like hyping up a dynasty till we know it's officially a dynasty. Howie's 100% move Huff this offseason. I don't know how they do that, Anthony. That's going to be a tough one. I know he's saying the wrong things and he was a mistake. But it's going to be very hard to move Huff this offseason with that cap. I think he counts like $20 million against the cap next year. It's going to be a big, difficult move on his part. Will he try? Sure. Will he be able to do it? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I think all we need for a dynasty is 3 Super Bowl wins. We did not end Casey's dynasty. They will see another. Absolutely, they will see another Super Bowl. Probably another championship. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is only 29 years old. Speaking of Patrick Mahomes, you see Patrick Mahomes' dad getting into beef with John Rocker, and now they're fighting some celebrity boxing match like that. That came around way too quickly, almost like it was staged. John Rocker. Who knew John Rocker was so roided up at this point in his life, post-playing career? Who knew John Rocker? I mean, we knew he was a hothead, but that dude is yoked. That dude's got some beef on him. Damn. And Patrick Mahomes, senior? Wow, man. Interesting. Great point. Dolphins players complained about Vic being so hard on them. What a bunch of babies. Look, nobody on the Eagles was complaining about Vic Fangio's style, other than maybe Bryce Huff. Kind of crazy. You know, we always talk about how Saquon got gifted to us. Well, so did, Vic Fangio. So did Cooper DeJean. So did Quinion Mitchell. We're gifted a lot this year. Jeff Saturday called out Mike Green on his past Jalen takes. What? Look, there's a lot of calling out, a lot of receipts being pulled. But for a majority of them, they're just doubling down on their bad takes. A majority of them are saying it has nothing to do with it. I just can't stop watching all the Jalen Hurts mic'd up videos and how he props up his players, his teammates, his soldiers to make them feel better about themselves. When I've watched the Devontae Smith crying video and Jalen Hurts telling him he deserves it so much, and Devontae tries to play it off. He's like, no, you deserve this so much. And you almost feel like he's like his son and he's holding him. Those kind of leadership moments are why Jalen Hurts is so special. It doesn't even matter the talent on the field. That leadership, it's special. Very special. Wait, he is the only Eagles quarterback to win a Super Bowl and played the whole season. He also has been to more Super Bowls than any other. Yeah, people are nuts. The Jalen Hurts hate, still continuing, is nuts. Chef Tush Push Blankensip. Did I miss the commentary on Jason? Jason who? Yeah, Huff needs to go to a soft team like Miami. Vic was too tough for him. Yeah, look, I don't know how you trade him. I'm no cap expert. Look, I was trying to do research on free agency yesterday. And every website I read, Spot Track, Over the Cap, any of the reporters, I get a different cap number from every single person. So I don't pretend to know what the cap situation is like or how to figure it out. But what I do know is that Huff's contract has a huge cap hit if you cut him, pre or post June 1st. There's a big cap hit if you trade him. You're going to have to get something really, really good in return to trade him. And somebody's got to be willing to accept that it was a fluke that he struggled here. The formula for this offense, or for any team really, is to go into the playoffs hot. Something like a 5-game winning streak. Yeah, I mean, we were only on a 2-game winning streak when we went to the playoffs. The key to a team is really to be healthy going to the playoffs and confident, for sure. So, yeah. How many Hall of Famers were on those steel curtain teams? All Super Bowl winning teams have great. Every Super Bowl championship team is a stacked roster. You don't win a Super Bowl with a bunch of Canadian Football League and UFLers. That's not how you win a championship. So anybody that says the team was too stacked, just full of shit. What's up, Tiger? I can't wait to be at the parade with my siblings tomorrow. Look, we're going to talk a lot about the parade tomorrow, but I'll just throw it out there. I think that parades are overrated. Championship parades. I don't feel like going, driving an hour and a half, fighting traffic, or even taking the train, standing in a huge million-person crowd to watch a parade float drive by for 3 seconds, wave to my favorite player, and then pack it up and go home. To me, I'll just watch it on TV. But I know why y'all love it, and I know why you all, are going. I just personally, my anxiety, my stress, can't be around crowds like that. It just can't. I'm there, can't wait. Chef Tushpush is already waiting along Broad Street. Huff got the bag, did nothing, and got a ring. He used to shut the hell up and enjoy the money and be lazy. Yeah. Dude wasn't that crazy. Who wasn't crazy? What? Right? Well, I'm lost on the comments there. Huff's cap hit is low in 25. Yeah, it's his cap hit if he stays. But then if you trade or cut a guy, the dead cap hit is what I'm talking about. Yeah, salary caps are freaking insane to try to digest, honestly, the information. Personally, I haven't heard about Rocker in years. John Rocker was so far from my mind. Then I saw that video of him and Mahomes Sr. trying to fight in the streets of New Orleans. And now they're already got a boxing match set up. It was almost too easy. Almost too easy that got set up. Almost like it was planned. Just saying, there might have been a thing. We got a lot of Twitter comments. I love it. Saquon wanted to be paid and to win. He knew it was with the Eagles. There's an argument made that Saquon needs a contract extension this offseason somehow. That needs to be on the agenda. Nick Wrong is a fool for the rest of his life. He is a fool, but he won't admit he's a fool. It's up to us to continue to remind him that he's a fool, Tiger. We glazing. Of course we're glazing. We're something that you and your franchise has never been. Super Bowl champions. I think winning the Super Bowl gives us the right to glaze a little bit. Just a little bit. Mahomes' dad explains where his brother gets the stupid from. It also shows why that wife of his, but how did Pat come from that man? I don't know. I don't know much about the whole situation other than didn't even know John Rocker still exists in the world. But that dude, John Rocker, man, he's still hitting the iron. Let's just say that. Gifts are always nice. What's up, my man? What's up, Steven Fuentes? How are you? It's great to see you this morning. Dan Phil, you are right. $22 million dead cap hit if they trade him. This is what I'm talking about. Again, I don't know if there's a way around that because, again, I am no salary cap wizard. In fact, I'm confused beyond all belief when I try to figure out what the Eagles cap situation is. I wrote down every free agent here, and I'm trying to debate which free agents are my favorite targets to bring back, plus all the extensions and renegotiations that have to happen. It's insane. I see some people saying we got $3.7 million in cap space. Some say 30. Some say with some moves they could be up to $60 million. I have no clue. And every single reporter says something different. But I do know that there's a huge hit if you get rid of Bryce Huff. So you got to hope you can bring Bryce Huff back and convince him to buckle down. I mean, we got Nolan Smith and Alex Hunt. Josh Sweat will be gone. There is room for him there on the outside to have a role on this team. So, yeah. Good morning, Little G. Hope you are well. We are Super Bowl champions. I agree with Marshawn. This team couldn't buy a turnover in the first half of the season. Towards the end, they were stacking them up like they were a dime a dozen. Yeah. So they got hot. Maybe not win-loss record-wise, but they got hot. Their defense just kept getting better and better. As the confidence built amongst this team, they got better and better. Huff needs to sit down and be a good and help the team any way he can, like Bradbury did. He knows he's getting paid. He taught the kids and got the ring. His time in Philly is over in a few weeks. I don't know how they make that happen, Duck, on Bryce Huff. It's going to be a difficult decision or process to get rid of him. Phil be a wet blankets? What? Am I not allowed to be excited that my team is a champion? You're wrong. On a list of hits and misses, Huff seems to be the lone miss. Bryce Huff was definitely a big miss, Dark Brown. 100%. Howie, every GM makes a mistake or two at a minimum. Howie made a mistake there. And that contract is going to be extremely difficult to move. I don't know how they do it. But, you get rid of Bryce Huff and take a $22 million cap hit, you might as well say goodbye to Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, and Zach Bond, and McCall, all your top free agents. That $22 million in cap hit for cutting him or trading him can be used to bring back one of your players. So he really backed himself into a corner there. I know, Rick. I know you're a Phillies Super World Series champion prediction. That's great. Pitchers and catchers reported yesterday, had their first practice. Wish I was down in Clearwater. I wish. Rocker and Mahomes Sr. is a life lesson. Alcoholism is real bad. Yeah, I can see that one for sure. I mean, Bradbury time is over in a few. Technically, Bradbury is still under contract. There's the contract. If you post June 1st cut him, I think you save a little bit of money. But James Bradbury technically is still under contract for next year. You know what? I saw somebody write an article, one of the beat reporters that's in the locker room all the time and sees these players all the time, wrote a little bit of a part of an article on James Bradbury. Forget who wrote it, and how he was a great teammate from the sideline this year. How he might have been hurt. He might have been able to come back, but never did. But he was there helping the young guys, coaching the young guys, tried to learn a new position, didn't cause a distraction because he couldn't be activated. So I guess to an extent, props to James Bradbury for being a good teammate. He's got a Super Bowl ring now. You wet blanket the parade, yo. I ain't going to no parade. Not going. I'm sure Howie will work some of his dark sorcery and trade him to Indy for a 3 and a conditional 2. Yeah, that is Howie. Howie is the magician. Howie's trade work does not get the respect that it deserves. Howie is an excellent at making trades. He really is. He works those phones and those trades. We've seen him on draft night trades. How active he is. Man knows what he's doing. He's not just a cap genius. You do what you need to do to make sure he doesn't become a locker room cancer. Yeah, I get that. You also can't hurt the team. You can't hurt the team financially. We are trying to win another Super Bowl, and the offense will be set in stone. But the defense has got a lot of, I'm looking at all the free agents. You got some big pieces. Sweat, Graham, Milton Williams, Bowen, Burks, Rodgers. Got some big pieces. Big shoes to fill. Taking a $22 million hit. It's a big deal. Huff ain't going anywhere this season. He will be in an Eagles uniform this year and might surprise us. Look, I hope we got to replace Josh Sweat somehow. Nolan Smith and Alex Hunt will be the starters. But Huff will have an opportunity if he's here to prove that was not a fluke. The Carson Wentz trade had led to A.J. Brown, Jalen Carter, Devontae Smith. Stop with the nobody's panicking. I don't think anybody's panicking at all. Carson Wentz, when we traded him away, we took a $60 million dead cap hit. And we did still make the playoffs in 2021 with that Carson Wentz cap hit. So if anybody can figure it out, Howie's proven that he can figure it out. So there's always that aspect to look at it too. Huff can suffer the same injury that Bradbury has been recovering from. Yeah. Yeah. Huff mid. Well, we're thinking that. What's up, Sour Patch Pete? In Howie we trust. Yeah. This is something actually that I've been thinking about a lot in the last day or so. Because we keep talking about which free agents to bring back, which free agents to let walk. Everybody wants Zach Bond to stay, and understandably so. Everyone's assuming Milton Williams and Josh Sweat are gone. Mekhi Becton is gone. But Howie's had an MO and a philosophy that has led to 3 Super Bowl appearances in the last 8 years, 2 Super Bowl championships. He's moved on from one franchise quarterback to another without hesitation. He's changed coaches without hesitation. We got to trust Howie. Howie lets Zach Bond walk. Don't freak out. In Howie we trust is kind of very important to really understand. That is why this is also, I say this Eagles Super Bowl victory was no fluke. And we started that off talking Jalen Hurts. But it's no fluke because Howie Roseman is special at building a roster, at building a team, at building a franchise. So whatever he does, I always say it every year, don't overreact to the first day of free agency. Don't overreact till the offseason is complete. It's going to be very important for Eagles fans to understand there's going to be some turnover, and some turnover from players we really, truly like. But have faith that Howie sees the big picture, because he's earned that trust. There's word Huff could join more in New Orleans, reuniting him with his former DC. I still don't see how they trade him, but we'll see. What's up? Go Birds. Make sure you hit the like. Everybody watching, make sure you hit that like button. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Greatly appreciate all likes, subscribes, and shares on this show. The race to 500 subscribers is on. I'd greatly appreciate it, please, each and every one of you. I remind you all, the players we have gotten started from trading Sam Bradford. Yeah, that Sam Bradford trade still is something. That was a long time ago, too. I'm still basking in the glow of our Super Bowl win all week, not worrying about what ifs right now. I'm the same way, Rick. You know, I'm still in that. I'm just bouncing around. That little extra smile on my face. Love it. Love it. Love it. Bond ain't leaving. He may not, but I'm not going to freak out if he does. All right. What has Howie always prioritized? Offense and defensive line. I have to think, and then also you throw in the draft day beef with the other scout on Milton Williams. I have to believe that a part of Howie Roseman would rather keep Milton Williams over Zach Bond because that's been his philosophy. Or he might want to keep Mekhi Becton and Josh Sweat over Zach Bond. Those are the big four. Becton, Bond, Milton Williams, and Josh Sweat. If he can only keep two, he might lean towards the positions he's always found. Linebacker. He found TJ Edwards. He found, Zach Bond. He found Kazir White. Cheap options. He's drafted Nakobe Dean and Trot Jr. Howie Roseman's never proven to spend money on linebacker. Now, he broke that mold with Saquon Barkley last year. Maybe he does it with Zach Bond this year. But it's not crazy to imagine that Howie Roseman's priorities are to stick to the philosophy that's brought him 3 Super Bowl appearances in 8 years, which is that interior line, that defensive line, that offensive line. Just saying. And as many weapons as possible on offense. Yeah, we all will freak out still. I know. Dear Phil, the savings from a second and third for Huff would cancel out the $22 million. No, it would not. You still have to pay the cap hit for trading the guy. I think Howie can work magic to keep Bond and Milton Williams. I think Sweat is gone, and no disrespect to Sweat. Yeah, I think Zach Sweat might be slightly overvalued. He had a phenomenal last 6-8 weeks in his Eagles career, but Sweat might be a little overrated, and the edge rushing market's a little weak this year. I could see a way. Now, the Milton Williams comparison is they let Javon Hargrave go when he had a big contract extension upcoming. So that everyone assumes they do the same thing with Milton Williams. I don't know. Milton Williams is still pretty young. I do want them to keep Zach Bond. I want people to I'm not saying I want them to cut Zach Bond, but it just wouldn't shock me if Becton and Williams are the two they keep. Could be Becton and Bond. Howie's going to find it hard to let 3 linemen, offense and defense, walk in the same offseason. In Becton, Williams, and Sweat. He's going to want to keep some of those. Bond can't be afforded. Well, anything can be afforded with Howie Roseman. Bond is getting the bag somewhere. If we are within range, he might take a haircut to stay. But if it's a big difference, yeah. And I won't be mad at Bond. If it's $30 million here and $31 million somewhere else, yeah, I'd be mad. If it's 35, 40, 50 million somewhere else, and we're at 28. This is one chance to secure his family for the next generation or two. How do you feel about AJ saying the excitement of winning has already worn off for him? I kind of love it. I kind of love that he's already in the mindset. All right, we won. We got it. Cool. Yeah. Well, now it's on the next year. I want to say about AJ Brown. his promise. Yesterday, went and visited 10-year-old Andre Howard, the kid that got injured protecting his sister in the plane crash in North Philly. He was there, just like he said, with the Lombardi Trophy, helping that kid, boost that kid's morale. Didn't waste any time going to see that kid. And even brought Saquon up on FaceTime to talk to the kid as well. A.J. Brown is a real OG. That dude just wants to keep playing football and keep winning football games and doing good. So A.J. Brown to me can do no wrong, say no wrong. A.J. Brown's the real deal. And Jalen Hurts is saying basically the same thing too. You know, everybody's getting upset about A.J. Brown being over the Super Bowl victory already, ready for the next one, when Jalen Hurts basically said the same thing. Howie got A.J., Jalen Carter, Cooper DeJean, and Devontae Smith for trading Carson Wentz. There's nothing he can't do. Yeah, the guy's pretty special. Still happier than a pig in shit. Yeah, I am too, right there with you. If they lose Bond and draft at 32, they take no. They I think you got a better chance of them keeping Bond than drafting a linebacker at 32. That's just my opinion. Becton is the one guy who they already have a replacement for. Steen showed he could fill in. I know. I get that. But we always have depth on our offensive line. Not only is Becton a free agent, Fred Johnson's a free agent, Nick Gates, Jack Driscoll, Clark. We got 5 of our 11 or 12 offensive linemen, all free agents. So if you lose Becton, and who cares if we lose the others, you're talking about changing 50 to 60% of your offensive line. I know just Stoutland University is the GOAT. But I'm okay letting Becton go. I'm trying to think like Howie, and Howie loves his offensive line. Depth. I remind you the picture of Hurts sitting there with the Lombardi and a cigar. You know the glow is fading. He's thinking about to roll it back and get another one. Absolutely. You know, I actually hate that picture. In my mind, that picture of Jalen Hurts sitting there on the floor was so staged. There were cameramen following him everywhere, and he knew, I'm just going to sit here. That's his wife saying, yo, there's a great opportunity for you to get some pictures here. Do this. It was just so staged to me. It didn't feel natural. Like, if you really wanted to get away, he could have found a place to go have a moment alone. But he did it in a perfect spot where every camera could capture him. AJ could have waited until after the parade. I mean, we can't have him being stick in the mud on the big day, but I also like where his head is. Complacency is the devil. Yeah, look, I'm sure he'll be hyped and partying it up with everybody else at the parade. But his mindset is, one's not enough. These guys want to be the best of all time. They want to be considered a dynasty. One Super Bowl does not make them the best of all time. It doesn't make them a dynasty. They want to go down in the record books as one of the greatest teams of all time. So they got to think. Next. The next one's important. Where K1, who knows? They'll come when they come. You're always worried about everybody else. This is kind of normal for the Eagles team. They always say they allow themselves a day or two to celebrate a win, and they go back to work. That's the Nick Sirianni mindset that he's preached all year long. You know, you get back to work. Right back to work. Win on Sunday, Monday, right back to work. Of course he is part of the core 12. Of course. The Eagles winning made me hate the Sixers even more. Tried watching last night and lasted 5. You were doing something last night during that Sixers game. I don't know if we could bring up, some of your comments from Twitter last night of the Sixers game. But anyway, we could say that the Sixers, I mean, how bad are the Sixers that Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid aren't playing, and Paul George scored 2 points? 2 points? Took 7 shots? 2 points? Didn't go to the free throw line once? 2 points from a $200 million man? Why would you even bring the word Sixers into the conversation on a day like today? Like, I don't understand that. Wait, Big Al be a come lately son. Big Al's been around a lot longer than you. Phil is called a come to Jesus moment or the moment of clarity. You can't tell where it happens or when it happens. He sat down there because it was when that moment of clarity struck. Okay. Maybe I'm just being a little harsh on the photographers being ready and ready to snap that up so quickly. Maybe I'm just being a little harsh. Hey, everyone says I'm too easy on Jalen Hurts. Maybe I'm just being harsh for a second on him. Doesn't change the fact that Jalen Hurts is the greatest quarterback in Eagles history. Paul George calling out Embiid. Really? Yeah, didn't he say something? I don't even know. About how it's been harder to work with him than he realized. You stand by it. You stood by and watched. Okay? Staged and produced. I mean, it kind of felt like it was. It kind of did, but it's okay. Guys, you're watching Trend in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. There are only 16 people in the room right now, but there should be 16 likes on this video and hopefully more than 422 subscribers. So please like, subscribe, share. It's free to do. Just like the screen says, like, subscribe, share. It's free to do. Don't hesitate. Get it done. Nice sweatshirt. This, you like this? This is STT Sports Network. You can get yourself an STT Sports Network shirt or a Trending in the AM sweatshirt. You go to LilliansCreations.com. You send them a message that you want a Trending in the AM or STT logo. They'll get it shipped right out to you. So don't forget them. Lillian's Creations. That one photo of Hurts amount a sea of people, media, and other. It was taken in the moment, and that looks staged. Yeah, look, there's 4,000 photographers rolling around, right? Vic Fangio was in attendance for the big Villanova win over number 9 St. John last night. Whole place broke out singing Fly Eagles Flies when they showed him. It was also, you were covering that game, weren't you, last night? For Stream Punk Entertainment. Not Steam, Stream. Good stuff there. And Villanova won, even better. Howie going to find a way to draft Mike Green? I don't know who that is. You need a longer live read on your merch. Look, merch, whatever. Cool. There's no ad reads on this show. It's okay. You guys are always so concerned with that instead of the actual content. But it's all good. It's all good. Whatever, guys. But anyway, back to the comments here. Back to the conversation at hand. This was no fluke. And we can't freak out when Howie Roseman makes a decision, one individual decision, one individual player comes or goes. I think Howie Roseman and Jalen Hurts have earned the benefit of the doubt. Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman have earned the benefit of the doubt that whatever moves he makes, whoever stays and goes. I mean, you think about it. Just on offense, Becton, Fred Johnson, Nick Gates, Driscoll, Clark, Kenny G, Britton Covey, Campbell, Uzma, they're all free agents. A majority of those guys are going to be gone. That means out of your 20-ish offensive players, 25 offensive players, 9 of them could be gone. And your core starters are going to stay. On defense, Sweat, Graham, Milton Williams, Bond, Burks. Who I would be good with them bringing Oren Burks back. You lose Zach Bond, bring back Oren Burks. Ben Summerlin, we forgot about him. Rodgers, Maddox, even Rick Lovato. The long snapper's a free agent. There's 18 free agents on this team right now. 18 of 53 guys. There is going to be turnover. There are going to be new names on this team next year. Question is, do we overreact and freak out when certain guys go? I don't know. Don't care about Nova after how they showed up for Brooklyn and not the Sixers. Yeah. Nova proved that they're not a Philly school. They're a mainline, rich, snobby punks. Screw them. Cheering on the Knicks over the Sixers. Screw that. Read the room, Nova. That was Fugazi. That photo moment with Hurts had to be a setup for a Jordan commercial. Yeah. I could see that, Steve. I could see that being a Jordan brand thing. It was just too perfect. It was just too easy in my mind. But good for him. Whatever. Jalen Hurts isn't a celebratory kind of guy. He's not a party guy. Jalen Hurts is always thinking about the next game or the next business decision. Jalen Hurts has got a team of business management people that have MBAs up the wazoo around him, from his fiance to his agent to his manager, always thinking, how can we make the next buck? How can we expand this portfolio? It's all that matters. Jalen Hurts is one of those guys that's always thinking next step. He's always thinking 3 steps ahead, 5 steps ahead. But there's no questioning Jalen Hurts' leadership and why that makes him the greatest quarterback in Eagles history. And I stand by that statement. It was asked yesterday on this show, and I got a poll right now. There's 240 votes on Twitter right now. All right? There's 35 comments. All right? 240 votes. Who's the greatest Eagles quarterback ever? Randall Cunningham, Jalen Hurts, or other? Jalen Hurts has got 85% of the votes, and obviously that is because they just won the Super Bowl. Whatever. Randall Cunningham's got 8% of the votes, and other has 7. So that's 15% of the people don't think Jalen Hurts is the greatest. And when you go through the comments, it's clear why Randall was so athletic. Who cares? He didn't win anything. Donovan McNabb had a larger body of work, 10 years, but didn't win anything. Jaws didn't win anything. Foles was a backup, basically. But mainly it's between Jaws or McNabb and Cunningham. My man Mark's got McNabb, Jaws, and Cunningham ahead of Hurts. And I ask you, this is the thing. Randall might have been more athletic. Donovan has a bigger body of work. But neither of those guys had one key ingredient that Jalen Hurts has, and that is the leadership. Jalen Hurts' leadership, okay? His ability to prop up his team, pick them up when they're down, make them want to run through a brick wall for him. Randall caused drama in Philadelphia. Donovan caused drama in his tenure here. Jalen Hurts does not cause drama because he don't care about the drama. He cares about winning. And if that means taking a backseat to Saquon or propping up A.J. Brown, he's going to do that. So he knows he's getting his bag. All he cares about is the team winning and being that ultimate leader. And I think there's something special about that, about Jalen Hurts in that aspect of it. That to be the best quarterback doesn't mean you have to be the best thrower of a spiral 50 yards down the field. It's who do you lead your team to victory? And that's what Jalen Hurts does. And he does it damn well. You could tell by the late night when he didn't shot the beer and just poured it on Landon. Jalen doesn't care about. Jalen's making the rounds. He was, on multiple CBS, the late night show, the Tonight Show. He's on The View. He's doing all the rounds, all the media rounds that a Super Bowl MVP's got to do. Disney World, doing it all. Cool. But he feels like he's missing out on his next workout, his next game plan. He's thinking other things. He don't want to be on TV in that situation. Although, on the Tonight Show, I saw the clip of when Jimmy Fallon was talking about the tush push, asked Saquon, what's your job? And Jalen and Saquon's like, oh, I got the best job. I get to push the tush. And a little snap look from Jalen Hurts back at Saquon, like, yo, yeah, you like touching that buttocks, don't you? That was kind of funny. There's a sense of humor in Jalen there. There is a sick sense of humor or a quiet, sly sense of humor. Jalen Hurts in the sense of humor department is like the guy that you think is quiet, never says a word, but then when he does open his mouth, tells the funniest joke that goes down in ages in your friend circle. You never forget about it. He's that quiet assassin when it comes to the humor and personality. I'm tired of the over love for McNabb. He probably cost us a Super Bowl. His beef with T.O. cost us dearly. Yeah, look, I was a huge Donovan guy. I was. But that's what I knew. Donovan came around when I was in my college years, when I was really, truly understanding the sport. Salary caps, contracts, everything. The business end of things. And I always thought he was going to win this one. But once that T.O. drama started, I realize that Donovan's ego gets in the way of him being a leader. Jalen Hurts' ego is never going to get in the way of him being a leader. Okay? And I'm sure Jalen Hurts has got an ego. I'm sure in closed doors he says things. But Jalen Hurts' leadership will never let a T.O. McNabb. Look, Donovan or AJ and Jalen could have had a beef this year, but they didn't. They didn't. Pretty simple. Donovan was a great quarterback, one of the best in Eagles history. But Donovan won shit. Plain and simple. And I don't think Donovan on this team would have won the Super Bowl. Donovan would have complained about his passing yards. Or A.J. Brown and Donovan would have fought. Can't see Jordan Mailata being hyped to stand up for Donovan. You got to put your ego aside to be the leader of men in the NFL. I guess it is too long ago, but it always surprised me we don't hear more about Tommy Thompson back-to-back champion. You're talking before. You're talking way before all of us, basically, Anthony. That's going way back into the annals of history there. People forget that the Eagles team beat two of the greatest quarterbacks in the Super Bowl, Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, absolutely. I'm so over this Ben Franklin love. He what? Ben Franklin what? Eagles just need to beat the Raiders now, and they will have gotten revenge on every team they love. Well, I doubt that Jalen Hurts will ever beat the Raiders in the Super Bowl because by the time the Raiders are relevant again, Jalen Hurts will have grandkids on slap. Let's be honest for a second there. The Raiders are a dreadful organization as well. Dreadful team, dreadful organization. They ain't gonna do nothing. Oh. You deleted this on YouTube, but I still see it on StreamYard. So, yeah. MJ had an ego. Tom Brady had an ego. Kobe had an ego. It's how you use it. Exactly. I think this is a fantastic point from you, from Al. Everybody, every star, every elite person, every elite athlete has an ego. It's do they let it get in the way of the ultimate goal? No. Do they let it get in the way of their teammates having success? Tom Brady, in his time in New England, I don't know if at the end of his career it changed, but his time in New England, arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. Let me say that. Tom Brady's number one on my list, quarterbacks of all time. I can confidently say that. But Tom Brady in his time in New England was never a top 5 paid quarterback in the NFL. Just like Jalen Hurts isn't. He always put team first. How do we make sure this team continues to be great? There's a lot of BS rolling around right now about Joe Burrow talking smack about the Eagles. Well, they just pay everybody. You could pay everybody if you take contracts structured that might not be perfect for you. Still give you a bag, but leaves the team the opportunity to sign more players. Bengals, Joe Burrow's cap hit is $20 million more every year than Jalen Hurts. He's not making $20 million more a year than Jalen Hurts. But Jalen Hurts structured his contract with bonuses and incentives and this and that, upfront money, deferred money, whatever it is, so that they can continue to pay A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, all these guys. Joe Burrow is going to lose one of his star wide receivers because they can't pay him. They can't pay an offensive line. They can't pay a defense. Because Joe Burrow, well Jalen's counting $22 million against the cap. Joe Burrow's going to count close to $50 million against the cap next year. It's a big difference. We don't have to mention the pre-Super Bowl championships anymore, but I'm still like to tell everyone that we won the last championship before the Super Bowl era. Yeah, I mean, that's 60 years ago. If you don't love Benjamin Franklin, then you don't love America. Is that right? Is that right? That 1960 team was the only team to ever beat Lombardi in a playoff game. That is such an accomplishment. Like I can't say that I'm brushed up on my 1960 Eagles knowledge. Can't say that that's my specialty. We'll just leave it at that. Ben Franklin wasn't even from Philly. Where was he from? He was from England, right? you know? And he had a lot of girlfriends in France, basically. Anyway, I don't know where the Ben Franklin talk is coming from today. I'm not sure even how or where that got started by you, K1. But K1, you have a bazoo hoot kind of a day. Don't get me started on Brady and Kraft's back off his deals to make sure Brady was happy with money and not show up against the cap. A reporter was basically destroyed for mentioning it. Look, maybe there was some shady stuff going on behind the deal, but you know what? They made it work. I mean, Belichick and Brady and Kraft, yeah, but they got the championships, okay? Or if the same thing happened here in Philly with Lurie and Hurts, but we won 4 more Super Bowls, would we be complaining? Back office deals? Handshake, wink, wink, nod, nod? No. Let them use some backroom things. Build championship teams. That's all that matters. Winning titles. That's the thing. Like, everyone wants to hate on Hurts and the Eagles, but all that matters is winning. And that's all the Eagles do, is win. Franklin was from Boston, had to run away from Boston to Philly to become something. Was he from Boston or was he from England? Was he born here in the United? I don't know. I don't even want to get into my American history. American history knowledge. I don't even want to get into that. But anyway, the Eagles have built something. And you know what's crazy about what the Eagles have built? That not one other team has picked up on their philosophies. The Howie Roseman GM tree. People keep poaching his executives. But yet they don't find a way to utilize his style anywhere else. They don't find a way to institute or put in some of his philosophies in other teams. Like, I find it hard to imagine that what Howie Roseman's doing is such a secret that no other team could follow. Like, I don't want him to. It would make our job harder. But it's kind of hard to imagine that what Howie Roseman does has not been adopted by any other franchise successfully. It's interesting. It's really interesting to me. More Benjamin Franklin talk here. Benjamin Franklin was from Boston, but he had crazy street credibility in Philly. He's the original Broad Street bully. Yes, he was. Ben Franklin was born in Boston and sold to his uncle to pay a debt. He ran from his indentured servitude into Philly and used the printing knowledge gained from his servitude to create a business. See, there's some deep bed. Like, we don't just talk sports here. We give you history lessons. Mr. Mad Dog Collins would be disappointed that I didn't know that off the top of my head. But, you know, I wasn't really paying attention to Mad Dog Collins' class too much. But, yeah, there you go. There's the knowledge. To think that he was sold to pay a debt. That's just, anyway. Anyway. I think the tree is overrated. I think they keep their secret sauce a secret. We had the Vic Fangio tree, but couldn't get what we want until we got the OG. Yes and no. It's like when somebody's trained somebody. I trained you and gave you all the information that you have, but I didn't give you all my secrets. I kind of find that hard to imagine, though, in the front office thing. If you're the assistant GM and you're working that close with Howie Roseman, you kind of got to have an idea of what he's doing and how he's doing it. What I think it is what Howie Roseman does. He structures contracts a certain way that the players have to be willing to accept that. And not all players are willing to accept that. And I think that is part of it. Also, Howie Roseman is not afraid to swing for the fences. Sometimes he swings and misses. Bryce Huff, Jalen Reagor, Carson Wentz. Sometimes he swings for the fences. We get Zach Bond, Jalen Carter, Saquon Barkley. So I think the big part of it is that then we go to Jeffrey Lurie. Jeffrey Lurie has given Howie Roseman the leash to swing for the fences. I think that's a big part of it. Leadership isn't just one level. Leadership comes from the entire organization, top to down, top to bottom. And Jeffrey Lurie's leadership is why Howie's such a great leader, why Nick is such a great leader, while Jalen Hurts is such a great leader. and why this Eagles Super Bowl victory is no fluke. We finally hit the 20 concurrent viewers on YouTube today. It's been a slow day today, but please, those watching, like, subscribe, share. It's free to do. I would greatly appreciate it, guys. Back to the comments. Noom's in the house finally. Eagles better at what they do. That Andy Reid is what Eagles better at what they do. That AR is at what he does. We birthed him, not the other way around. How he creates relationships through the league. We keep asking why anyone takes his calls. It's because he's honest and is well liked in the league. He would have a job if he ever wanted to leave Philly. He's never going to leave Philly unless he's buying a team, which I don't think he does. But yeah, he is honest, and that is key. You know, nobody wants to do business with Daryl Morey because he's a scumbag. Howie is straight up honest with everybody. Never goes back on his word. Yeah, I mean, how many times do people got to get fleeced? You know, Howie convinces them they're not. Howie convinces everybody that they're not getting fleeced, and he continues to fleece them time and time again. I mean, we talked for about 10 minutes about Bryce Huff and his situation. I don't think a trade of Bryce Huff is possible cap-wise. But if there is a way, he'll find a way to get something for Bryce Huff because Howie is that next level thinking. He's willing, again, if you're willing to take a $60 million cap hit, you know, years ago when that's a lot of money in the cap to get rid of Carson Wentz, who's to say he won't do the same thing with Bryce Huff? $20 million is nothing in this day and age, I guess, in theory. Supposedly the Jets want Howie to run their franchise. Yeah, I mean, look, Howie is not going to run another franchise unless there's ownership at stake. I think that's the only reason he leaves Philadelphia is to get an ownership stake in a team. Or to maybe in a couple more years, he gets tired and wants to see if he can start all over again somewhere else. But Jeffrey Lurie is never going to not keep him under contract if he wants to be here. That's easy. A lot of teams, the Jets want Howie to, every team in the NFL, I bet you, we'll say 28 of the other 31 teams would fire their GM instantly if Howie became available and they could bring him on. No matter what kind of success the other GM has had. I guarantee it. Almost every team would fire their GM like that to bring Howie in. Howie needs to buy the Eagles when Jeffrey's time is over. What better hands? Well, I mean, look. You know, Jeffrey's got a son, and Jeffrey's son is learning the business to take over, ultimately. Think that's pretty set in stone now. I always wondered if people started telling Howie all the league secrets once he got thrown in the closet. You know, when he was in the closet, he had all his CIA, operative, listening devices all spread out around the league and start learning. That was the greatest thing we could ever done. Put Howie Roseman in that closet. Because since that closet, Howie Roseman's been a different man. We can thank Chip Kelly for this Super Bowl. Because if it wasn't for Chip Kelly banishing Howie to the locker room or the equipment room, Howie might not have ever changed and become the guy he is today. Every team in the league wants Howie to GM their teams. Lurie and Howie are like family at this point. There is that for sure. 100%. Burrow was on Pardon My Take and said the Eagles can pay everyone when he was asked about the Bengals being able to pay Chase. Yeah, he was kind of complaining, though. I think it was more of a complaint about the Bengals than it was the Eagles. But I think people are skewing his words and making it seem like he thinks the Eagles are just buying these championships. No, the Eagles are smart. The Eagles are doing something that's not revolutionary, but no one else is doing. Tony Pauline reported that he is hearing that the Jets want to hire Howie and possibly make him part owner. It's going to take a lot to pry Howie Roseman out of Philadelphia. It really would be. And Howie would go down as, if Howie left to go to run another team, would Howie Roseman become public enemy number one in that situation? I need a new challenge. They're giving me part ownership, so I'm out of here. That would be something. Howie might be a millionaire, but Lurie's a billionaire. I don't see Howie coming up with that. That's exactly that's why he won't be. You have to give him a piece. in his contract. I will give you an equity stake in the team. I don't know. I watched too much of that other stuff. Good that Laurie would keep the team in the family so long as his son doesn't turn into Chase Snyder. Yeah. As long as he doesn't do that or, anything like that. Snyder did. Look, the Snyders are, Football is better without the Snyders in football anymore. How would Matty B react? Matty B would probably be so happy that Howie Roseman's not here. The same Matty B that thinks the Eagles should trade Saquon Barkley immediately. Because, why would you want to keep the best running back in football? If anything, you got to give Saquon Barkley an extension, not trade him. 100% was a complaint about the Bengals. He said that the way the Eagles are doing it seems to be the right way. Yeah. But yet nobody adopts the same philosophies of the Eagles, which is crazy. Guys, you're watching. It's the top of the hour. It's 9 a.m. It's February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day. You are watching Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. Please like, subscribe, share. Free to do it. Free to click those 3 buttons down below. So please do it. I'd greatly appreciate the race to 500 still on. It's a long slog, but it's still on. Please tell everybody at the parade tomorrow. Everybody going to the parade. If y'all find me 5 subscribers at the parade, we'd be at 500 before long. So get that done, guys. Burrow doesn't understand that Philly is also the 5th largest media market in the country. Cincinnati is like the 15th. They don't have the market for how we spend. Well, I don't think the market in football, the salary cap, has much to do with it. Because there is a cap. You can only spend so much. Every Eagles sicko will go and drop $150 on a jersey color change. Yeah. And what the money spent on jerseys is just crazy to me. Is Matty still negative even? Yeah, probably. His first tweet on Monday was trade Saquon Barkley. So we didn't gain a single subscriber today. I went back to an old thumbnail. I think my thumbnail, I really loved it, but, I think it's one that's from old school Phil and probably why I didn't grow early on in my days. So we'll go back to good thumbnails tomorrow. 422 subscribers. Not getting the algo up today, but that's okay. That's okay. Most of the Eagles' money doesn't come from the normal team activities, but on marketing money and rights. But you can only spend so much of that money on players. Yeah, exactly. Matty B. Curmudgeon, Matty B. The Eagles' facility is better, or stadium is old but better. These are the things that help the team in general be better. Absolutely. They got a great facility. They got the NovaCare complex. I don't know. I remember the one report a year or so ago about rating the team, and they don't travel the best, or they're not liked the best for travel. I don't know. Something about that. Matty B is the Skip Payless of podcasters. Matty B is the guy. I don't even know why we're talking. Why are we talking about Matty B? I was going to make a joke about him, but he's a Skip Payless, Nick Wrong, Chris Simpleton, Dan Sillyman. Those guys make Matty B want to say dumb shit for clicks. Unfortunately, it just doesn't. It's not becoming of them. But that's just whatever. Why you guys want to talk about somebody else? Let's stick to the Eagles here. All right. Let's stick to this. Let's stick to the Phillies. Let's talk about how dreadful the Sixers are. Let's talk anything but someone like Matty B. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion. Let's get me to 500 subscribers instead. But anyway, the Sixers season is a disaster. The Phillies season is about to start. The Eagles have done the other organizations in this city, the Flyers, such a great service by winning the Super Bowl. Because if the Eagles weren't in the Super Bowl, if the Eagles weren't at the point that they are right now, there'd be a lot more fire on these organizations. There'd be a lot more hate on these organizations. We'd be examining the Phillies under a microscope. We'd be talking about Paul George's 2 points last night and how does this guy get out of this city, run this guy out of the city. These other organizations in this city should be thanking the Philadelphia Eagles for being no fluke and being Super Bowl champions. Eagles have enough wealthy fans that they can turn on an opposing stadium into an Eagles nest. Absolutely. There's no, it gets better and better every year, Duck, the way Eagles fans travel. I don't know how Eagles fans, where they get their money. I don't. Like, I could do some of this stuff, but man, it would put a pinch on finances. And that's not like I'm poor or anything. Travel the way they do, buying merch the way they do. See, people have spent $500-$600 at pro shops already on the Super Bowl. Like, I was pissed off spending $50 on my championship shirt, which is supposed to be here on Thursday or Friday. Matty B is the Patrick Cantlay of Philly Pockets. So slow and boring. Did you notice Jalen Hurts smoking cigars while holding the Lombardi Trophy? That's the same thing Michael Jordan did when he won his first championship. Hence why we said earlier that was probably a pre-set up thing by his Jordan brand for that. Even SoFi, which is a used stadium, we still take that place over. We take it all over because we travel. Trend the AM Phillies outing needs to be in the works this summer. Do we want to do a Phillies trending in the AM day? We all go to the Phillies game together. We all get standing room only tickets. We tailgate for a Sunday or a Saturday. Saturday afternoon, Sunday, whatever. We all go watch a Phillies game together. We could do that. We could set up a trending in the AM. You know, anybody got a hot spot? We'll do a live show from the parking lot. I got the equipment. I got the mics set up, the computers. But maybe we'll do a little live recording. I spent $180 at the NFL shop, and my stuff won't be here until March. My stuff was originally scheduled to be here on Wednesday, February 14th. I looked. The next Wednesday, February 14th, is until 2029. Just so you know. KC Mizzou doesn't exactly scream flush with cash. No, it's not. Got the combo pack, 2 pint glasses and a black cap. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I think I know a guy. Do you know a guy? Do you know a guy? I know a guy. I got a hot spot weekend. Look at this. So we're set. We'll try. Me and Steven will chit chat and Al. We'll try to plan a trending in the AM Phillies tailgate special, and we'll all go to a game. Everybody buys their own ticket. We'll just get standing room only tickets so we can all hang together. We'll try to do a Phillies tailgate on a Saturday, maybe like a 4:00 Saturday game, so that we can tailgate during the day, watch the 4:00 game, maybe tailgate a little after the game. I think that's what we do. Is anybody down to do that? I know Adam is down. I know Adam is always down. Adam's always down to hang out and party and go to sporting events. Adam's another. I don't know where Adam gets his money from. Love it. But anyway, is the Super Bowl victory a fluke? And I think the answer is no. Let's bring this whole show back to the point of the show. The point of this show is to remind everybody, to prove to everybody, to let everybody know we hear the hate. We hear the excuses you're making. Before we couldn't do it because we're not good enough, according to you. But now that we did do it, you have excuses on why we did it. This is no fluke. How many franchises in the NFL have made 3 Super Bowls in an 8-year span, winning 2 of them? Not many. Outside of the dynasties. What the Eagles have been able to accomplish, not just in the last 3 years, but in the last 8 years, is special. And it's because this organization, from top to bottom, is led flawlessly by all the positions of leadership. Let me tell you something. Jalen Hurts. Again, I keep saying it. I can't stop watching the clips of him just propping his teammates up, putting his teammates ahead of him. And the Saquon one's awesome, but the Devontae Smith one, the Jordan Mailata one's awesome. The Devontae Smith video is the poster child video of what makes Jalen Hurts so special. No fluke. The Eagles dominated. It wasn't even close. Chiefs dynasty ended. I don't think the Chiefs dynasty ended. You got the top 5 quarterback of all time, top 5 coach of all time. The Chiefs will be back, maybe different, but back next year. There's no doubt about that, in my opinion. But the Eagles dynasty, well, like I said earlier in the show, Rick, I don't like to use the word dynasty. I don't like to use the word dynasty till at least the dynasty's over. Now you could call the Chiefs they had a dynasty because some people think it's over. I'm not calling it a dynasty till 10 years from now. I will pay for your Spirit Airlines ticket to fly to Clearwater, Florida to cover Philly spring training. Just a couple layers. Yeah, it'll take me 4 days to get there, right? I would love to go back down to Clearwater. It's been far too long. Far too long since I've been to Clearwater. Went like in a 2-year span, I went like 4 times. I love Clearwater. It's not a fluke. We were just a better team, and the Chiefs never played anyone like us all year. It's so much more than just not a fluke. They're built for success. Chiefs won't win another championship for at least the next 10 years. That's bold. You got Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback who's only 29 years old. And you don't think he'll win one more championship in the next 10 years? That's a bold comment, Rick. It is. Very bold. Don't know if I agree or not on that. Chiefs need to seriously retool that O-line, let them down. Absolutely. They've got to retool the Chiefs. But you're still going to have Patrick Mahomes, and you're still going to have Andy Reid. So you got to think that they're going to retool, not rebuild. There's a difference between rebuilding and retooling. In 10 years, they'll be talking about the Sirianni tree. They might already be talking about it. Jalen Hurts is such a good teammate. I'm willing to bet at Alabama he let Tua finish that title game because he's such a leader. Yeah. I don't think he let him. I think Nick Saban told him he wasn't finishing it. Pat under Brady was a dynasty because they haven't been to the Super Bowl in seven years. Yeah. Mahomes will win a bunch of games, but not Super Bowls. I mean, there's a window opening for what you're saying for teams like the Bills and the Ravens to get to a Super Bowl finally. For those quarterbacks to finally prove that they're no flukes. They're not regular season flash in the pans. Because let's be honest, Josh Allen, for as crazy he is, Lamar Jackson, as crazy he is, haven't been able to get past the Chiefs. Brady had a 10-year gap in rings, so it's possible. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. Yeah. Look, I'm not worried about the other teams, though. I'm worried about our franchise and our dynasty in the making. And how do we sustain it? We sustain it by having faith and trust in our guys. Faith and trust in Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, Nick Sirianni, and Jalen Hurts. Faith in them all. Faith in them all to do the right thing, to get it done. We can look back on the Pats under Brady because it's been so long since they have been back to the Super Bowl. So you can say that era is over and can look at it more definitively and call it. Exactly. That's my whole philosophy on a dynasty. You can't call it a dynasty till the dynasty's over and you've had time to digest the whole era. That's all I'm getting at, too. Kelsey might retire. Some of the videos I'm seeing of Kelsey from the Super Bowl, the guy needs to retire. And I don't know why he hasn't said it yet. I think he claims he's thinking about it. I think he's thought about it already. I think he's waiting for the Super Bowl parade to be over so that all the attention is on him because he's got an ego, for sure. When was the last time there was a blowout in the Super Bowl? I can't remember the last time. I don't know when's the last blowout. Seattle-Denver, was that the last one? I'm not even sure when the last one was. I guess that was the last one. The Eagles will be the new Patriots of this era. We're not the new Patriots. We're just the Eagles. I don't like to compare to like that. Last time was the Broncos. So it was Broncos, Seattle. Everyone's saying that. I'll accept that. Kelsey looks so burnt out on the field, let alone the podcast. I mean, you got to think about it. Kelsey not only has been beat up for years, playing tight end the way he does, gets him beat up. But he's also been globetrotting with Tay-Tay. He's been doing pocket. He's spread so thin and at a point in his career and life where his body is breaking down. The guy's got some burnout in him, for sure. And it's probably why he hasn't announced his retirement, because he's probably saying, let my body heal for a little bit. Let me see how I feel in a month and then make that decision. But I think he calls it quits. 40-8, something like that. 49ers for Chargers wasn't a blowout. Kelsey and Cox have to be like, really? Yeah, exactly. Before that was probably the Bucs beat down to the Raiders. Yeah, I mean, there's some. Very rarely do you see games like that. And the Eagles game doesn't even count as a blowout because it's 40-22. Yeah, because when you really look at it, it was 40-6 with 3 minutes left in the game. So it was a straight blowout. I see ESPNers of the world and Fox Sports of the world, hyping up Mahomes' throw to Xavier Worthy with 3 minutes left for that 50-yard touchdown as the greatest throw in Super Bowl history, but completely ignoring the Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts hookup. I think it's kind of funny. The last blowout before the Eagles blew out the Chiefs was when Brady's Bucks blew out the Chiefs a few years ago, 31-9. Yeah, okay. 48 was the score of the Eagles blowout win versus San Francisco in 94. Let's hope our fate doesn't follow that path. Our fate is in the hands of Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie and Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. BG said the same thing. Give him a week to see how he feels. Yeah, you don't want players making rash decisions and then having to backtrack on those decisions anyway. So, yeah, I find it funny that Mahomes' throw was against our bench players. Yeah, no one's talking about that, right? No one's talking about how it was against bench players. That was the greatest throw in Super Bowl history, despite they were being down 30 points and all of our backups were in, and you guys were still running out your starters. You couldn't give Carson Wentz a chance. That last pass to Worthy was against McCollum and Sidney Brown. Exactly. But yet, you've got ESPNers of the world that get paid big bucks by ESPN and Fox Sports and all these big networks saying that was the greatest throw in Super Bowl history. Let's just crop out the score and the time frame. 3 minutes left in the game. Down 30 points. Let's just ignore that aspect of it. Let's ignore the fact that the Jalen Hurts throw to Devontae Smith was so perfect that the Eagles were celebrating the touchdown before the pass even got into Devontae Smith's hands. Let's forget about that. But Peyton Manning was washed up. Mahomes is in his prime. Mahomes is still in his prime. The media has a hard time giving Philly teams the credit we deserve. They do. They hate us. And we don't care. I do care. I want our team. I want the Eagles to get the respect they deserve. I want Jalen Hurts to get the respect he deserves. Although if they did get the respect they deserve, then I would have nothing to talk about on this show. I'd have to talk Sixers or Phillies. Greatest throws in Super Bowl history, Manningham throw and throw to Corey Clement. Corey Clement throw was it a touchdown? Did he really hold control of that ball and catch that? I don't know. And the words of Jason Kelsey, no one likes us and we don't care. F them. I care. For some reason, it bothers me. No one. There's a lot of people, K1, that hate Phil. Just so you know. And I do care. I want people to like me. I do. I can't help it. I can't help myself. Can't help myself. It bothers me. It does. But anyway. With that being said, guys, it's time to start the wrap-up process. Please like, subscribe, share. It's free to do. Tomorrow is Super Bowl parade day. So the question is, what's everybody doing? Who's going? We'll be live tomorrow morning, of course, as always, at 8 a.m. right here on this channel. I am not going to the parade. We'll talk about the parade. We'll talk about what we expect out of the parade, plus whatever other news comes up today. I have a feeling there'll be a quiet show tomorrow because everyone's going to the parade. I just got a text message from Marky Mark. He wants to join the stream tomorrow from the parade. We'll see. Maybe. Maybe we'll get him on from the parade. Thank you, Rick. We'll see about that. But what I want to say is this Cloud 9. It's not a fluke. I have a feeling that we'll be feeling this way again next year and the year after that and the year after that because this Super Bowl victory was no fluke. So, guys, enjoy this. Probably after this week, getting into next week, the hype kind of wears off. And we'll really have to get down to the nitty-gritty with free agency. We'll have to get to the nitty-gritty. We'll have to talk baseball and basketball next week. Let's enjoy this moment more than ever. Let's enjoy it. One of the most impossible throws made by an Eagle was Carson Wentz corner dime to 5'6" Boston Scott over 7-inch solid juice pepper. I remember that. Conspiracy theory alert. Wentz was sending all the play calls to Fangio. That's what okay. This is the only beginning, the beginning. That's exactly. Oh, there's a lot of people, Brian. There are a lot of people that aren't a fan of me, but it doesn't make me lose sleep at night. It doesn't. Can't help myself. There are people that are not fond of the beard. We'll just leave it at that. But with that being said, guys, like, share, subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow, 8 a.m. Go Birds and bubbles up.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep.